Rural America is probably the scariest place to be in America, and it's not even any offense to them, but I've been in places in rural America where they don't have schools, and the only jobs they have are Amazon warehouses, so the only line of employment you could possibly have, the only movement you could have in this area is be born and go work at Amazon, and that's your whole life. There's no other opportunity. The best thing you could get out of it is like going and making some internet money somehow, and that's really terrifying to me. Like, these communities are being underserviced in so many ways. It scares me because no one ever really talks about them, because people only want to talk about the small town America that is like low-key more like middle town America. There is very, very rural parts of America, and these people are being underserviced in a massive way, in a huge way. And I think the worst part about it is that I've seen ads that are targeted to lie to these people, to get them to fight against their own interests. And I fear that if they're underserved in education, they might not know or understand that they're being lied to, because honestly, a lot of educated people don't even understand.
I find it so insane that in rural southern communities that are literally just waiting to die. I mean, there's the poverty is out of control in these communities. Social services don't exist. Help doesn't exist. That they still vote for Republicans. You know, they see no material change in their life. They probably complain about their life, but yet they go and vote Republican. And the Republicans pacify them with religion. Don't worry, it'll get better. Don't worry, we're praying to God, it'll get better. They don't even expect anything from these politicians.
These rural Americans in this clip voted for Donald Trump, and now they cannot afford to eat. He promised he was going to make these people's lives better and fix all of the problems they are facing. However, he has done the exact opposite. Everything has gotten worse.
How big of a problem hunger is in rural America? Spend time at a mobile food bank.
It's 90% of what I consume. And I don't keep the car running. I can't afford the gas, so I have sleeping bags to stay warm.
I still feel bad that I have to come up here and sit in a line, to get food. It's embarrassing as hell.
While Americans are struggling to afford gas, food, and rent, Trump has found time to do just about everything else except for his job, including giving $40 billion to Argentina. He's also found the time to demand $230 million in taxpayer money for himself. And of course, he's got plenty of time to destroy the entire east wing of the White House and replace it with a ballroom that's modeled after one of Putin's palaces. But he can't find the time or compassion to reopen the government or extend ACA tax credits that many of his rural supporters rely on to survive. This is what happens when leadership becomes a vanity project. Trump isn't governing, he is indulging himself. He's treating the presidency like a personal empire with luxury renovations and giving foreign strongmen billions of dollars. Meanwhile, his very own supporters are standing in food lines saying they can't afford gas or groceries. It's not like he doesn't have the time or resources to fix this stuff, it's that he simply doesn't want to or care.
Hello guys, rural Maga is broke and it's something we need to talk about. Watch this short coverage till the end so that we can be on the same page. And if it's the first time here, consider hitting the subscribe icon below for more topics like the one discussing here right now, Maga updates, Trump news, black, brown, and minority groups in America. You can as well share this video to fellow family and friends. Let them know that rural America are finally getting a reality checkup as they are broke and Trump doesn't care about them. Trump policies and ideologies are hitting them hard as they didn't expect this. It is such an interesting episode, and at the end I love more strong commentary. Remember, they were warned but they didn't listen. It fell on their fears. Now that Fafo is here with them, they are in the finding out phase. They are busy coming online and claiming that life in rural America is becoming unbearable as from the first video we have just watched. Share a response on the comment section below and I will humbly respond to you. Kindly, let's watch.
People don't understand how truly poor the American South is. I moved from Tennessee to California about 4 years ago, and I'm still paying for it now. We just don't have the money to move, and so I don't really meet a lot of people from Tennessee out here. The closest I find are really people from Ohio, and so now I'm a Browns fan. But I bring that up because that's an important component in understanding the political divide. It has taken a lot for me to understand that social programs are there for me to use them, because for most of my life, there was not enough to go around. I remember the first time I went to a food bank and they gave me an onion, I actually cried. And not like onion cried, but cried, because it wasn't required food. It was flavor, and that was a luxury I couldn't really ever afford. And then I learned that they had like taco seasoning, and oh my God, it was amazing. But when you're used to getting by on so little, and the only security you really feel you have is the ability to make a dollar stretch, it is scary to ask for help. And you wonder who you're taking it away from. So when people take aid when they're destitute, as opposed to like nearly, I think people can jump into judgment because they probably need the aid just as much as the person who received it, and they're scared it won't be there when they're long past needing it. And guys, there's enough to go around.
Let me tell you something that I'm real tired of seeing, and I'm not going to read anymore, and that is a profile of a MAGA voter. I don't care. I'm a rural Democrat. I'm in the middle of MAGA folks. You don't need to tell me what they're thinking or what they're saying. Why should we do the emotional labor of trying to unpack whatever it is they're suffering from? Why should I have to pick their brain? They might be a racist. They might be an evangelical. They might just be voting against their self-interest. But I don't care anymore. I'm not reading any more pieces on these folks. There is nothing interesting about a MAGA nurse or a MAGA plumber or a MAGA farmer. I'm not going to spend another second of time thinking about those folks. They can go full on MAGA for all I care. I'm going to focus on registering new voters and making my crew bigger. You're not going to change the mind of a MAGA. Not at this point, friends.
Hey, just some guy here, and this is why rural MAGA voters lose the most from school vouchers. I'll explain it slowly with some maps and math. Okay, this one is probably going to sting a little because you rural conservatives are being played the hardest in this whole school voucher circus, and I don't think you even realize it. So let's walk through it. School vouchers, they sound great to y'all on TV. Freedom, choice, escape failing schools. Cool. Now, quick question. How many private schools are within 30 miles of your rural town? Exactly. Most rural counties don't have private schools. They don't have charter networks. They don't have choice marketplaces. They have one school. One, and that school is the football stadium, the jobs hub, the community center, the emergency shelter, the tax base anchor. It's the heart of the town. Now here comes the voucher policy. State legislator passes it. Tax dollars get set aside for school choice. Urban, suburban families where private schools actually exist, they use it. Rural districts, they still only have one school, but now their state education budget is thinner. So the rural district loses funding. They don't gain options. That's not choice, that's extraction. Studies from groups like National Rural Education Association have warned that voucher expansion disproportionately harms rural districts because enrollment loss hits harder when you only have one school. You can't consolidate when you're already consolidated. You can't shop around when there's nothing to shop. And here's the brutal math. An urban district loses enrollment, it's annoying. A rural district loses enrollment, that might mean cutting teachers, cutting electives, cutting sports, and combining grades. Small districts operate on very thin margins. There's no cushion. And guess what else rural schools often have more of? Higher poverty rates, higher special education needs, longer bus routes, higher transportation costs. They are already expensive to operate per student. Now reduce funding and what happens? Programs disappear and the politicians say, see, it's inefficient. No, it's isolated. And here's the kicker. Voucher money overwhelmingly goes to metro areas because that's where private schools are. So rural taxpayers help fund private school tuition in cities while their own schools get weaker. You are subsidizing someone else's choice. That's the grift. And when rural schools close, towns shrink, property values drop, young families leave, businesses don't move in. The community erodes. Public schools are economic anchors. You rip them out and the town bleeds. Meanwhile, the same politician who pushed voucher campaigns on protecting rural America, protecting it from what? Its own school? If you're rural and cheering vouchers, you're voting to destabilize the only education infrastructure that you have. That is not freedom, that is self-sabotage. School choice was designed for dense areas with alternatives. Applying it to rural America is selling subway passes in a town without a train. But it polls well, so they sell it anyways. And you rural voters, just keep footing the bill. Just some guy's thoughts.
Rural America. The midterm elections are around the corner. Which side will you choose? Is it the Democrat side or the Republican side? And majority of you don't know this, that many people in rural America are on the Republican side. And that's exactly why they are suffering. Trump is only there to enrich himself and his billion-dollar dynasty. He doesn't care about his MAGA supporters and his MAGA voters. As long as the deal on the table involves money, he will wipe away his supporters, not looking back. Remember, this is something people were warned, but you didn't listen. It fell on deaf ears. And Fafo is here with you. Kindly embrace what you voted in. 4. Schools and hospitals in rural America are lagging behind in terms of development. They are not getting the necessary services they duly deserve. We have rural Missouri, we have rural Arkansas, we have rural states in America. These states are the ones who voted in for Donald J. Trump. Trump is planning to run for another presidential term. Will you vote in for Trump if he decides to do that? Or will you sideline him and vote in for another president? Kamala Harris was right, and you people have finally accepted this, and you want her to be in power. Democrats clearly showcased MAGA voters and supporters that Trump doesn't care about any law-abiding American citizens. And we have got to see on today's episode how Trump has left rural America lagging behind in terms of development. On the next episode, I'll continue showcasing to you how Medicaid, how Medicare are being scrapped away by Trump's administration, and Trump is planning to rig the midterm election so that he can continue staying in power. Even MAGA voters are panicking. MAGA voters are furious because Trump doesn't care about their needs and wants. In this video, have you seen a black American complaining about the current situation in America? It is only white Americans, and it shows you that black people in America are immune to disaster. They are immune to struggling, and they have been in America for such a long time. They know America inside and out. Any struggles, any pain, they are immune to it. White Americans, white people, MAGA voters and supporters, follow what black Americans tell you. They are always right. You people are busy coming online and wanting black people to work on your fields and plantations. Why don't you scream out loud to Trump so that he can bring back immigrants, he can bring back the Hispanic and Latin communities to work in your rural farms. This is not the 1960s where you people continue to slave black people on your plantations to pick cotton. This is a new era. This is something people for the longest time possible wanted to happen to you. Fafo is here. It is not going away, and it will embrace you until Donald J. Trump gets out of power. MAGA is broke. Rural America is broke. And MAGA voters are stunned because this is not something they wanted. They voted in for Trump so that they can hurt black people, but it is actually the other way around. They are the ones who are suffering. Development in these rural areas are lagging behind, and the representatives in Trump's administration don't care about any person in rural areas. It was a nice session engaging with you, and please and kindly, if you are not a robot or an alien, please do hit the subscribe icon below and follow for more facts, and I'll keep you more posted and updated on MAGA news, Trump news, black, brown, and minority groups in America. Thank you for watching, family, and goodbye.